Hi, welcome to another video. Today I am going to be doing a little repair on my battle axe. Right along here, we've got a couple cracks, and that shouldn't be too bad. On the inside here, it's not actually welded. The handle of this battle axe, it's actually 3 pieces of 1/4 inch aluminum, and right there, when I welded these together, I didn't add any filler, and I was just doing just kind of a big weave over everything. So when I did that, it made a pretty thin weld, and that's why they're kind of cracking there. So that'll be an easy fix. I just have to grind those out and weld them back up. The issue here is this rivet I have in there is a little too close to the edge, and now it's cracking just beyond that, or from the rivet out to the outside of the handle. So that one will be a little bit more tricky of a fix. What I should have done when I made this was, instead of having steel on 2 sides with aluminum in the middle, I should have had 2 pieces of aluminum with 1 piece of steel in the middle, just because steel is a lot stronger. But it's a little too late for me to change that now, so I'll just probably along here, I think I'll grind the steel down a little bit, bring this outside edge in closer to that rivet so that I can grind out that aluminum, weld that up. And I might do a bit of build up on the aluminum, make it so the aluminum comes out a bit further than the steel. And then it should be good for quite a while. I think the reason it's probably cracking and giving out on me is because I was at one point when I was hard surfacing this edge, I took a couple swings at this piece of 5/8 ready rod, and I got a couple deep gashes in it, but I think the axe probably took a lot more strain from that than it normally gets when I split wood with it. So as long as I don't try and do that anymore, I should be alright once I have it all fixed up. Alright, I'll give this a grind and get it ready for a little bit more weld. And now I should be ready to give it a little weld here. Lens off, and there's my welds. Just since right here is pretty thin, it was wanting to melt that before I melted the center piece of flat bar, so that's why it's a little globby on the end, same as the other side. So I'll give that a little grind and clean it up. Now it's time for me to start on the bottom side, or I guess the back, and get that all fixed up too. I think what I'll try and do actually is just try and grind out to that spot, and then after that I'll see if I can weld and get weld in between the two steel ears, and then maybe do a little bit of build up and have a bit more height on that back ridge. And this time I think I'll leave the lens off for welding. That actually seemed to work surprisingly well without melting the steel at all. So I'll add on a little bit more and see how it goes. And I'll start my build up from here, just so I have a bit extra weld, a little bit extra meat there, so hopefully it'll last a bit longer this time. And it's looking pretty nice there. Just got to clean up some of the soot that's on the steel, and I think that should do pretty nicely. I'll give it a couple swings here. Also, one other thing while I'm taking a video. The one main question I get whenever anyone takes a look at this axe, they'll ask me how I put all these little dimples in the handle, and I did that with a die grinder and an aluminum burr bit with a round end. So each one of those dimples was me touching it with a die grinder once, and it took me probably an hour and a half in total to do both sides, maybe a bit longer. So it does look really cool, but there's a lot of time involved in doing that. Also, one other thing with aluminum that's kind of annoying sometimes, it has very high thermal conductivity. So even though I was welding right here, way over here on the handle, it is super hot to the touch. Whereas if I go over here, I can hold my hand on this, even though that's that far from that, and this is about a foot from where I was welding. So whenever I weld aluminum, basically the entirety of whatever I'm welding gets super hot. And even though aluminum has a lower melting point than steel does, it actually takes a lot more amperage with the welder to melt it, because so much heat gets sucked away from the weld through that thermal conductivity. Yeah, this one, even right out here, right about here, actually that's even hotter than right here. Here I can hold my fingers on there, and here I can for a second, but it gets super hot. Alright, the axe is finally cold enough to touch, so now I just got to do a bit of chopping. And so far, I'm not seeing any cracks. I think she's good. Thanks for watching.